Hey, everybody. I'm Laura DeFranco, the CEO of Brave Healer Productions. I am filling in for Miss Ginny Robertson tonight. And welcome to today's Connections Over Coffee gathering with the On Purpose Woman Global Community. I am really glad you guys are here, whether you're here with us on Zoom Live or you're watching this on our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for being with us. We have an amazing speaker for you today. Cassandra Herbert is here, and she's going to be speaking on overcoming hustle culture, a holistic approach to growth. Cassandra Herbert is a holistic nurse, health and wellness coach, herbalist, former psychotherapist, and creator of Zest and Harmony. Passionate about shifting healthcare from sick care to true wellness, she empowers individuals to embrace medicines of the earth and lifestyle changes. After overcoming Superwoman Syndrome, Cassandra developed a holistic framework to help busy women move from stress and depletion to energy and ease, enabling them to thrive in all areas of life. Welcome, Cassandra. I could relate to that Superwoman Syndrome. I can't wait to hear your talk tonight. It's all you.
Right. Right. Let me see if I can share my screen. I do have, okay, yes, I can. And let's see, present. Present. Yeah. All right. All right. Yes. Hello, everyone. And as Laura said, I'm going to be talking about overcoming hustle culture, a holistic approach to growth. So, just a bit of an overview why this topic even matters. The three keys to breaking free from the hustle culture, practical strategies, right? Because we can find out what those keys are, but we want some practical strategies and actionable takeaways so that when you finish listening to this, whether you're listening live or to the replay, you'll have those actionable takeaways to make that shift. All right. I always say a loving disclaimer just because I am a health and wellness coach and herbalist, and in my presentations I sometimes will mention foods and different things like that, but always before you make any major dietary or lifestyle changes, consult with your qualified healthcare professional. So I just want to ask you all, and you can just note this to yourself. Have you ever felt like you're always hustling, but not really growing in your business? Have you felt like that? I mean, I know I have many times felt like I was hustling, but not really growing in my business, just doing all the things, doing all of them, but my business wasn't growing. And so I just want you to take a moment, take a breath, and just notice that. Notice that. Write that down. Think about that and think about that as we go through this presentation. So, why this topic matters? Why does it even matter? Why should we even talk about this? Well, first, societal pressures disproportionately impact women entrepreneurs. As women, we often face unique challenges, such as caregiving. So we might have where we have children, or we might have, aging parents, different things like that. And society expects us to do that caregiving. There's also the professional demands in our career. There's also this cultural narrative that glorifies overwork, making it difficult to prioritize well-being without guilt. Like it was said in my bio, I have been that woman, the Superwoman Syndrome, and many of the clients that I attract have that. So, what is that? That is, I'm every woman. I can do all things. I don't ask for help. I'm not going to show you vulnerability. I actually feel validated because you're telling me how busy I am. Can anyone relate to that? Or how do you do it all? I don't know. I just do. But the other thing that happens is if we bring in like colonize, introduce, if we think of the colonial impact, colonization introduced systems that prioritize profit and exploitation over the well being of individuals and communities. There's also the patriarchal systems that value constant, and I'm talking constant action and visible achievement. And what did they disregard? Often they disregarded emotional, relational, or community based success. And women's contributions, such as caregiving or emotional labor, are often undervalued because they don't fit this framework. Then also, what happens when we're in that go, 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 do, hustle, hustle, hustle? I can't stand that. Hustle and grind, hustle and grind. Oh my goodness. What happens? Burnout, burnout. And its consequences, because if we're burned out, we have totally pushed past our capacity, which I'm going to talk about. And then this has where our nervous system is activated. And this has a ripple effect on our health because if I'm going, and this is part of my journey, I was go, go, go. So what was I eating? A whole bunch of sugar. Why? Because that would give me that rush, that insulin, that my blood sugar would go up, that glucose rush. And I was also drinking a lot of caffeine, but then I would crash. Right. And then in crash and recovery, I'm going back up and I'm going down. That wreaked havoc on my system. I was fatigued. I was tired. It messed with my menstrual cycle. In my 20s, it was messing with, I wasn't living with the season. So it was messing with, I had seasonal affective disorder, all of that. And then it could also cause brain fog. And so it messes with our creativity and our resilience. And stress doesn't just diminish productivity, it impacts long term resilience. It also includes detachment, and statistics have shown that burnout affects 42% of women in leadership roles. And if we're entrepreneurs, guess what? We are leaders. We are leading in the business that we have. So there's an importance of redefining success and shifting the narrative because the current definition of success often focuses on external markers like revenue and status and productivity. And so let's shift that narrative to merits that are internal, like joy and ease and alignment. Let's tap into like intuition, spirituality, being guided, collaboration, and community. Because even when we go back, as I was talking about, like colonial impact, indigenous and ancestral practices often valued living in harmony with natural cycles, while colonization disrupted these practices, enforcing labor and extracting productivity instead. So we want to talk about how we're going to shift that narrative. Success is not defined by how busy you are, but how aligned your life feels with your values and your well-being. So let's get to the keys. Let's get to key number one. Key number one, redefine success. What does that even mean? Well, let's look. Let's move from external validation to internal fulfillment. As I said, as that busy woman syndrome, when I really looked at that, I got validated for, well, I was talking earlier with the group that I used to work night shift, and so I was like working night shift. I could work all night. I did come home and sleep. I did like my sleep, but then I'm getting up, I'm busy, I'm saying yes to this. It's not that I didn't want to, it's not that I couldn't say no. I just love doing it. So I would look at my calendar, I would write all these things down. That was back in the day when you used, I actually still use a written calendar, but you're writing all these things down and it looks good on paper. But guess what? I'm not planning for that in between time, that transition time. And people would say, how do you do all of that? How do you do it? And I was like, I don't know. But when I really looked at that, it was because I was getting that external validation of worthiness, of enoughness. So we looked at all the things that I do, and I'm going to be that ever learning student. I love to learn. I love all those things. So I'm not knocking all of that, but it's really, what is my intention behind that? What is your intention? So it's really looking at, do I have ease? Do I have peace? Do I have joy within myself? You know, and then defining success on your terms. What does a fulfilled life look like? What does having a successful business? For me, that is having a successful, sustainable business. It is doing things that are fun. I found recently, I was resistant to getting on TikTok. I was resistant. And then in April, I decided to get on TikTok. And you know what? I am having so much fun with it. I love it. It just like, I'm just like, this is so much fun. I love it. And you know what? That actually, I feel more creative because I'm tapping into my fun. I'm tapping into what brings me joy. And so I'm just like, it's not even stressing me out because I'm defining what success means to me. What does that provide me? So, also with that, I want to ask you, you know, what does fulfillment look like? Because if we think about this, fulfillment is like a well-tuned instrument. When aligned, everything plays in harmony. The other is capacity awareness. So I work a lot with clients on their nervous system and capacity. And when we ignore our capacity, what actually can we do? It leads to burnout. I was telling the group earlier today that I remember several times during my life, I'd wake up in the morning and I would think of my to-do list. And I'd be like, feeling like I had so many balls in the air. I was like, what am I going to do? How am I going to do all of this? And I'd actually start like having a breakdown. I'd be crying, going, there's no way I can do all of this. And then it just was like this aha, who created this schedule? I did. No one was forcing me to do it. It was all me. Going back to, because I received validation. How do you do it all? I mean, I would get it done because I'm a doer. I would get it done. But at what expense? What expense? I was not tuning into my body. I wasn't listening to my body. I wasn't eating the things to support my body. I wasn't resting like I needed. In fact, rest equaled laziness. I actually would be kind of judgmental if people just said, I did nothing all day. I'd be like, okay, oh, wow. Now that's a whole different thing. Still a little bit sometimes guilt comes up, but it is, it's, yeah, that's an interesting thing to shift. But look at your energy, look at your energy budgeting. And we're going to talk about that. I'm going to give you some practical tips on that. So, success is not a destination, but a feeling of alignment, fulfillment, and thriving in all areas. So, not just in your business, but in your relationships, in your relationship with yourself, in all areas, in your environment, keeping all of those things, everything. So here are some practical tips that you can do. Write down what success looks like and feels like. What does it feel like in your body? Like really embody that, because when you embody that, you're going to manifest that. So look at it for your business, your health, and your relationship. Prioritize goals based on what truly matters to you, not external expectations. What really matters to you? And then this is a fun thing, energy inventory exercise, because I'm all about the energy. So write down what is depleting your energy. Like what is really depleting it? Like take an honest inventory. What is depleting your energy? And then look at what is giving you energy and sustaining your energy. And for the things that are depleting your energy, see if you can shift them. See if you, I'm going to tell you, I'm not a numbers girl, so that would like deplete my energy. But I had to shift my mindset around it and I made it fun. I made it fun. I will look at my numbers. I gamified my numbers. Like, so I had to make it fun. So some of these things as business owners, we've got to do. But how can we support? So I'm going to be talking about values. One of my values is having fun. One of my things that I do is telling people how wellness can be fun. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to go to the gym. You can have fun with fitness. If you love the gym, go to the gym. If you don't. Healthy eating can be tasty and delicious. It doesn't have to be cardboard. Let me tell you, it doesn't have to be cardboard. So you just look at those things. And this is a thing I never did because I'm achiever on my Gallup thing. One of my Gallup, I can't even think of one of my top Gallup strengths. My strengths, yes, is achiever. See, I'm a natural achiever. But so I was on to the next thing. I didn't celebrate wins for what? That's what I needed to do. But acknowledge and celebrate your achievements no matter how small, no matter how small. In fact, keep a wins journal to reflect on progress regularly because this is going to keep that momentum. It's going to celebrate you. It's going to nourish you. It's just going to bring in that excitement. It's going to inspire you. It's also going to have you to slow down and to reflect. Now, I'm saying my story throughout, but basically, like I said, it has been that, Superwoman syndrome, which I will say I'm the superwoman in recovery of really shifting that because I was listening to something, it was a holistic life navigation, and the woman was talking about black superwoman syndrome, and she was saying in our lineage many times as black women, a lot of my lineage is from the African diaspora, is that we needed that to survive. Not me, but my ancestors needed that to survive. They couldn't be vulnerable, they couldn't ask for help. Their life could be taken if that happened. So that has been carried down, and many of the clients that I work with have had that same lineage. But we can shift that. We can go back and look at beyond that lineage. Like I said, many times indigenous, different cultures tapped in to nature and cycles and living with the seasons and cyclical living. So, key number 2, your business with your values. Okay, so what is that? Lead with authenticity. So you hear that a lot. So how do you really become authentic? Well, one is knowing what your values are. So I encourage you to make a list of what your values are. Your values, like for me, one of my top values is freedom. I have done the value thing, and one of my top ones is freedom. So if you look at that, that can be tricky because that can very much go into the pushing energy because it's like, oh, I want to do what I want to do when I want to do it. So all this, but how do I shift that? So I'm leading with authenticity because when I can do that and create a sustainable business is having a business that gives me the freedom to do what I want to do. So how does that look? Also, one of my values is having fun, integrity. So then if I know those things, that is how I'm going to lead. And then I'm going to create offers that align to that. I'm not going to create an offer that is talking about how numbers, working with numbers, because that's just not fun to me. So it's really creating values that are aligned, create value aligned offers. Know what your values are and doing that. I'm also, if freedom is one of my values, I'm not going to do where I'm seeing people every day, Monday through Friday. Like that doesn't, because that doesn't give me the freedom to do other things. So you just, if sustainability is a value, the other thing is accessibility is a value for me. So what I do is I create offers. Some of my offers are accessible. They are donation-based offers because I want for everybody, no matter what, to be able to know about wellness and how, health is truly their wealth. And so I do have some offers that are donation-based. Also, value-driven energy use. So focus on work that inspires you, that energizes you, while, if you can, delegating or eliminating other things. Or, like I said, making it fun. Making it fun. So, I encourage you all to identify one task this week that drains your energy and one task that gives you energy. Align your daily and weekly schedules with what energizes and inspires you. If you don't have that in your schedule, then it's not going to happen, and you're going to feel drained and you're going to feel burnt out. So, key number 3. This is actually my favorite. Prioritize rest and rejuvenation. I'm going to tell you, I remember growing up and I loved to sleep. I don't know, maybe it's my astrological sign Pisces, which is a dreamer. So I loved to sleep. And you know what my Nana used to tell me? And she used to say, "You're going to sleep your life away." So I know she meant well, loved her dearly, but that really fed into me like, oh, sleeping is bad. I'm going to sleep my life away. And so again, it was that, and you had to finish your work, do all your work before you could rest, all of these things. And so rest was not a priority, nor was I listening to my body. Rejuvenation? No, I was not doing that, nor was I fueling my body to be rejuvenated. So the rest capacity connection. I'm going to tell you, rest isn't optional. It's essential for peak performance and creativity. Think about a time when you didn't get a lot of sleep. Now think about that time. Were you creative? Probably not. It just doesn't. And then think of rest. Here's a little metaphor. Rest is the soil where your creative seeds grow. You have to have that rest. If we think about nature, if we think about the animals and all of that, they're cyclical, right? So we're going to go into living in rhythm and cycles, and they rest and they come out. And we think about plants. Plants aren't just even in the most warmest areas. So my husband's family, they're from Nevis. Mangoes, they have mango season. Mango season. Even though it's hot there, mangoes aren't blooming all the time or producing all the time. There is a season. So, are you aware of your season and your rhythms? You will achieve way more when you're well rested because you have more focus, more energy, and joy that will amplify your output. Let me tell you, it does. It does. It really, really does. I have found that. So, what does that mean, living in rhythms and cycles? All of us have our different rhythms and cycles. We were talking about this before, like night shift, if you work night shift and if you work day shift and all those things. And it's really recognizing what works for you. So you have your daily rhythms. Like for me now, it used to be I was very much more productive when I worked night shift. I was productive from 7 to 12 a.m., 7 p.m. to 12 a.m. Well, actually, 5 p.m. to 12 a.m., I was really productive. Now I've shifted that, and I think it's as I've gotten older, and I'm not still an early morning productive person. I'm more of my natural cycle now is probably more maybe 8 to 12 or 1, but it's also depending on the season of the year. I'm way more like early morning in the summertime than in the wintertime. So you've got to know that. Just really recognize it. So your daily, how do you flow in the day? How do you flow weekly? And then how do you flow seasonally? As women, also your, if you're still, menstruating, your menstrual cycle, all that, the moon cycle, all of those impact you. So it's really tuning into that and seeing what works for you. And then this helps you in planning for your business. This past year, I was like, I'm not doing anything business. Well, I'm not going to say anything, but I did take a break from social media from winter solstice, and I was going to do it till like January 15th. Actually, it felt so good I did it till the end of January. I was like, yes, I did not post on social media at all, and I was just like, I that just felt good for me. It was, so you got to see what works for you, but it's going to be key to know that. And nourishing the nervous system. Nourishing the nervous system. So what are those things? One is, first you want to have like food. I am just like, food is medicine. Fuel your body. Nourishing your nervous system with the right foods isn't just self-care, it's the foundation for sustained energy, focus, and resilience. Like I said, I used to be like a sugaraholic. And when I say a sugaraholic, people are like, yeah, right. No, 6 Krispy Kremes in one setting, 4 Reese's peanut butter cups, and a Mountain Dew because I needed the caffeine. That stuff, no way, no more. Instead, I'm having a healthy fat like avocado and a smoothie with phytonutrients and leafy greens and all that. And I'm telling you, I have sustained energy for the first 4 hours of the day, sometimes 5 hours of the day. I'm feeling good. I don't really even drink caffeine. Sometimes a green tea, but having those things and also staying hydrated. So these are things it we can get into that push energy and have that sugar, then that impacts our nervous system because then we go into fight or flight. We're becoming adrenalized, and then we are getting that, wanting to. So we have that sugar high, but then we crash. And that crash, we don't rest, right? We don't rejuvenate, we don't restore. Instead, we get something else, a simple carbohydrate, something that will, rev back up that sugar. The other thing is breath work. Another thing is just remembering to breathe and tuning into your body. The breath is a powerful tool. It's something we have all the time. It's something we have all the time. And it helps to bring us back from that sympathetic nervous system to the parasympathetic. Because when our sympathetic nervous system is activated and continues, and a lot of times it's just our thoughts, that causes stress, it causes inflammation, and that inflammation can lead to dis-ease. So you just come back to the breath. And the other is rest. Rest is not idle, it's a prerequisite for energy, focus, and creativity needed to do meaningful work. So I just want to encourage you that your business and life are a garden. What you nourish will grow. What you nourish will grow. And guess what? If we're nourishing that busyness, that go, that hustle and grind, guess what? We will continue to that, and we will become overwhelmed and burned out. So I just want to give an overcap that redefining success, aligning with values, and prioritizing rest and rejuvenation build a foundation for long-term growth. This is what a holistic approach will do, and it allows for you to thrive not only in your business, but also in your life. So I'm going to ask you, and you can just marinate on this. What's one shift? One shift. It could be a mind shift, a mindset shift. It could be something that you're going to do. What's one shift you can commit to today to create holistic growth in your business? And if you're not a business owner, in your career and in your life, just one shift. It'll make all the difference. Not doing all of it, not everything I said, just one shift. Thank you, everyone. Again, I'm Cassandra Herbert. Zest and Harmony is my business, Cassandra at zestandharmony.com. And if you're wanting support in shifting this, you can reach out to me if you're wanting to have more energy and ease in all areas of your life.
Thank you, Cassandra. Oh my gosh, really, really wonderful, amazing reminders. You guys, let's all unmute, take a moment to show Cassandra some love. You guys can woohoo, you can clap, you can thank you. I always love hearing the woohoos. Cassandra, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us today. I was breathing as you were talking and thinking about the oatmeal with blueberries and almonds that I think I'm going to make my new yes, my new breakfast. All right, you guys, to everyone who joined us live or is watching the replay today, thank you so much for being a part of this vibrant, supportive, and purpose-filled community. If you'd like to learn more about how to get involved in our Zoom or in-person gatherings or explore the On Purpose Woman magazine, just head over to opwgc.com. We would love to connect with you again soon. And until next time, stay inspired, you guys. See ya.